This week's video is a right old mix with garden updates, motorhome titivation, a quick spin of Aviemore, a beautiful walk in search of a Pictish cemetery, plumbing in a new washing machine and the back-breaking job of clearing ground and building a compost bin. But first, when 2024 started, we had no idea what lay ahead. Through a twist of fate and travelling for over 2 years, we would end up appearing on Escape to the Country, finding our dream home in the Highlands and moving in just in time to host family for Christmas. Oh, by the way, we are Kath, Sue and Fudge, so why not come along and see what 2025 has in store? Well, hello. So today's project is for the van. I've got a very annoying blind at the front, on the front windscreen, which is supposed to lock into place when you're driving. Unfortunately, the mechanism to lock it is loose now, and it slowly shuffles its way down when we're driving, which is really annoying. It means that we've either got to stop, particularly if I'm by myself, or Sue's quickly got to unbuckle, shove it up, and off we go again. So I've come up with something that I think will lock it into place with my newfound woodworking skills. Anyway, let's see if it works. It's just an idea. Well, I started by making a couple of little blocks that were the right size for the gap in the track at the top of the windscreen blind. Then cut them to size using a flush trim saw. Well, my plan involved drilling a small hole through the metal track and attaching the small block of wood using an eyelet that we could screw in whenever we needed to travel. Now, unfortunately, I'd screwed far too much into the wood as well, which means this is a bit loose, so I may need to change it in the future. Good morning. It's a gorgeous day today. Just look at that view behind me. It's delicious. It is beautiful, but it's cold. But today I've got to go into Aviemore, and that's to pick up some new glasses. I've had my eyes tested again recently, and I've got a new pair of reading glasses. But what I've also done is I've got a second pair of prescription safety glasses. So I really want to kind of get using those, because I don't know if you've noticed, it's really awkward having to kind of change from my reading glasses to my safety glasses, and sometimes I've been forgetting, so this should solve the problem and keep me safe in the workshop all the time. Now, I've brought you into the greenhouse, but that's because it's really windy outside, so I'm protecting you from the wind. But I thought I'd show you how some of my plants are going. Now, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but they're not growing massively quickly. I don't quite know what I expected, but let me take you first of all to Mr. Perky. He's been started by being a bit droopy in the morning, but perky in the afternoon, a little bit talking to him, and he's quite perky most of the time. Now, since I planted them, we've had some more snow, we've had some quite frosty days, but they seem to be doing okay. Now, there's one which I think is called an azalea. I might have got that wrong. That seems to be as it was when I planted it. And then there's another one, let's call him Mr. Droopy, who's been a bit droopy. I think he was droopy when I got him. I can't quite remember, and he's still a bit droopy now, and I haven't seen much change. But guess what? Some of the bulbs that were around one of the plants that were already there, not the new ones, are really starting to poke up now. And let me show you the ones that are at the front of the house. They were the ones that I was most worried about, but I think they're going to be okay. Well, I've arrived in Aviemore and the sun is blaring out. Blaring out? That's probably not the right phraseology for the sun. Anyway, it's sunny. Anyway, I'm going to have a quick poke around in Home Bargains and Aldi first, because what I've been looking for is some graph paper, but in an exercise book that I can keep to put all my different woodwork designs in, so I can go back to them in the future if I want to do them again. Well, nothing that I wanted in Home Bargains, so let's try Aldi. Well, that's why I don't go into Aldi too much, because I've been tempted by something that I never actually knew I needed. which is a crimping set. Now, whilst I'm in Aviemore, I've parked in the main car park up by some of the shops, like there's a Costa here, an Aldi, the Home Bargains, and a lovely outdoor shop called Tiso. And this is a great place. If you come in your motorhome, there's plenty of parking here, and the first 3 hours are free. So whenever we've been travelling through in the motorhome, this has been a good spot for us to park. Well, I've just spotted a new shop. It's Go Outdoors. There used to be a Blacks, and there was a closing down sale. In fact, I got some really good bargains. But it's now a Go Outdoors, so I'll go and have a mooch in there. And this shop behind me is one of my favourite shops. In fact, I would say there are two shops, maybe three. They're all outdoor shops, by the way, they're my favourites. This is an independent outdoor shop, and one around the corner called Tiso. I like Tiso because they have a cafe upstairs and dogs are allowed in. Well, I haven't done all of Aviemore today, just a couple of shops at the top of town, because on my way back I want to stop at Screwfix, which is just on an industrial site, just outside, literally on the outskirts of the town, because I need to get some hinges and brackets for my next project, which is the compost bin. Well, here I am at Screwfix. I'll go and get the consumables that I need for that project. There we go, my new safety glasses. What do you think? Right, I thought to tell you about what I'm going to do next. So I've still got a few things in the workshop that are not completed, but I've reached a point where they're glued and waiting for glue to set before I can move to the next stage. But I've got these pallets and this project that I want to put some compost bins, and I think I'm going to put them kind of around here, the other side of the fence, so they're in the field, they're out of the way of the garden and the workshop, but accessible from the gate, which is just behind where you are now. So, and also we can tip into them from this side, but I'm going to have a door opening hopefully on the other side so we can actually get the compost out when it's made. I've only been doing it for 30 seconds and I'm knackered already. I think this is going to be quite a hard job. I've been going for about, well, more than half an hour now, and I've cleared the tiniest bit of patch. It's really hard going, and I'm so hot, I'm even down to my t-shirt now. It's not that warm. I mean, the sun is out and you can feel the warmth of the sun, but it's probably only a couple of degrees, but it's such hard work. I'm going to keep going though. Well, I've taken a break from clearing that ground, giving my back a bit of a rest, and we've come to somewhere different today. There's a small loch called Loch Pitulish. I hope I've said that right. But what interests me is there is some Pictish cemetery around here, or at least the remains of one, which I've been looking up. Apparently it's of really significant historical importance. Part of it has been excavated over different periods of time in the past, and human remains recovered from one of the barrels. I'm guessing that's like the coffin equivalent. So I'm quite interested to see if I can find it. Oh, what a magnificently beautiful setting. And unfortunately, I would point you in that direction because they've got the loch and then the view of the mountains just beyond. But it's going to be directly into the sun, so you're not going to see much if I do that. Or maybe I'll try and bring it up on the screen if it's possible.
had to step away from the loch because there is a fence. But I think there might be a gate I can get through up here. So we're still just in explore territory at the moment, following our noses. Well, so far it's been a big fat fail. I can see that there's a gate kind of in the direction I'm now headed, but we've definitely been off-roading. And so I'm going to head towards the gate and see whether that gives us a slightly easier passage. Ooh. Yes, there is a gate. Ooh, let's make our way through the bushes. Are you still with me, Fudge? Good girl. Good girl. Come on, Fudge. Good girl. Now we can walk this way, which seems a bit easier. Well, I did go through that gate and it looked like it was all it was going to do is take me back down to the loch, but on the other side of the fence, and it looked like there was going to be no way through. Now I could have carried on, but decided not to because I'm pretty sure this cemetery is the other side of the road. And let's see if we can find this ancient Pictish cemetery. Well, unfortunately, we never did find the old Pictish cemetery, but we had a nice walk anyway. But fortunately, I've got to get back to clearing that grass, that patch of land, ready for the compost. Well, we're not in the sun anymore, so I'm keeping my jumper on this time, at least to get me started. Well, a few more spades in the ground and then a welcome distraction. Well, I want to show you the excitement we're having at the moment. I've taken a break from clearing a patch in the garden because Sue has ordered a new washing machine and it's arrived and she's plumbing it in. Easy peasy, Susie?
At the moment, yes. I think moving it might be the most difficult part of it.
It's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, I need to somehow get that plastic thing out.
And now Sue is using the most useful tool in the workshop.
Now, if you think it's a bit strange that we're using a hairdryer to plumb in a washing machine, that's been the suggestion by AEG, because we can't get these little plastic stoppers in, so we're warming them up and hopefully we'll get them in.
And it just needed a hairdryer and a hammer, and we managed to get the little plastic stoppers in.
Right, let's get it over there. Oh, I think you might have the heavy end.
76 kilos. 20 kilos heavier than me.
We were fighting against each other. I'm going the other way.
Right, okay, let's go this way.
Why? Because we want it to go in backwards.
I know, but I can't. If you're going to do, so we just.
It's going to go closer to the wall.
No, that's it.
So you're going to watch your new washing machine do its thing.
No, just making sure that there's no water going to spurt out under there.
A washing machine genius.
I've just got to go with this one now.
And how on earth we're going to pick it up and get it in the car, I have no idea. Well, as you can see, we were distracted for a long time trying to plumb in our new washing machine, which is now successfully plumbed in. We just need to move it back into place, but we're going to do this first wash. But it does mean that I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to do the next bit of digging in the field
ready for the compost bins. Good morning. Well, this is day 2 of ground clearance. And the sun is just coming up. It's not quite hit the ground yet. And I think I'm going to have to wait because it's really frosty. I probably won't even get my spade into it at the moment. So I think it'll be indoor jobs first, and then as soon as the sun hits the grass and starts to, the frost starts to go away, then I might be able to finish off that job of clearing a patch of grass. Well, the weather improved, and after some more strenuous digging, I was back to a t-shirt. Well, you'll see I've made some progress. I brought the pallets out just to see whether I've made enough progress, and I think I'm going to have to clear a little bit more first. There's definitely enough space for one, but I don't want to. It's easier for me to work on the ground if there's nothing there, so I've got a bit more work to do. Well, nothing's actually fixed into position yet, but I just wanted to do the usual dry fit. I've got enough clearance. I might have to raise my door off. I was going to have a kind of short door at ground level, and I will have a door. I'll have to move the mound I've created so that the door actually opens. But yeah, I can do that. In fact, I should do that now so I can see what clearance I've got, and then I can start to fix this lot together. Well, I've lost the sun now and it's starting to get really cold out here. I have disappeared indoors to get drills and screws and sorted, but when I've come out here it's really cold. So I think I'm going to knock this on the head for today and come back tomorrow when hopefully we get another bright sunny day, and when the sun's on here it's a much more pleasant working environment. Well, this is day 3 of the compost build, and best laid plans and all that. I was just going to try and level the ground a little bit just to make the construction a bit easier, but there's a little bit of snow coming down, and it looks, if you look behind me and over there, it looks as if there might be a bit more. So I'm going to get a very quick move on, and we'll see whether we actually manage to get it constructed. Well, wisdom suggests start with the bottom corner first, fixing that in with a screw. Thing is though, it's always good to have a screw that's long enough. Second time with a longer screw. That's good. Put a couple of these angle brackets in the corners just to give it an extra bit of strength. Well, I'll crack on now. I'll have an angle bracket top and bottom on both sides just to give it that extra bit of strength. I may even get some metal spikes just to put around the edge at the side, because I've seen people do that as well. I won't bore you with the rest, I'll just get on with it. Next, I need to cut down one of these pallets so it's half size, because I'm going to make a gate with a hinge at the front. Now, I've tried the circular saw, but this depth of wood is just too much for the blade. So I'm afraid this is going to be a manual sawing job. Yes. Okay. I think I'll use this one as my start. Okay, let's go. Well, it's clearly not entirely square because it seems longer at the front than the back, and it's not the case because it's from the same pallet of the same size. I don't think it really matters with a compost bin
And as you can see, if I put that on the ground, then unless I clear more ground, I'm not going to be able to open it. So because I don't want to clear more ground, because that was the hardest bit of this job, I'm going to get some wood and I'm going to prop it up, so I just give it a bit of clearance, and then that should do the job. I've changed my mind. I am going to clear some more turf, so I'm taking some extra layers off because I'm going to get very hot doing this. But I think I would have just kicked myself if I hadn't done it this way. So, well, let's get on with it because it's hard graft. Well, that has been utterly back-breaking work. Have you ever started a job and then wished you hadn't? But I mean, look at these. The size of some of the rocks that I've taken out of the ground. I mean, that's a biggie, but there's been about 3 or 4 of those, maybe 5, and lots of slightly smaller ones. I've got a whole pile of them. So here, this is my gate. It's not fixed yet. I'm going to do that now. But I think I've tried to test it and I've got enough clearance to get it round. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to get some lunch because I'm starving and very thirsty. And then, well, I'll probably call it a day then because there's rugby on this afternoon and Fudge still needs a walk. Whew. I'll tell you what, I think it's going to end up being one of the most satisfying jobs I've done. Only because it's, you knocked the camera then. Only because it's just been so hard, and when I've done it, it will feel like there'll be that sense of satisfaction. Right, last hurdle, Fudge. Let's get the hinges fitted. Might put my jumper back on now. Hook an eye on there, we should be okay. Well, my final step is I'm going to put just like a hook and eye at this side, and I went to get them and they're not there, and I could have sworn they've arrived, but I may have completely forgotten. So it's solid for now. I'm going to call it a day, partly because I'm absolutely whacked. Well, I said the compost bin was finished, but it's not, because I completely forgotten I bought the chicken wire to line the inside of it. So that's my final job. I'm doing it now. I'm not going to film it because, well, it started snowing again and it's pretty boring. And, well, I think that's probably a good place to end this video as well. Hopefully I'll be able to show you a picture of the finished thing. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.